if they are required to do so. Okay? As a member, you need to sign in. As a guest, it's okay. Guests allowed. All right? Yeah, I'm doing that thing. Perhaps that's a bit better. So mention the register. Welcome everybody. AGM 2025. This is my. I've got quite a bit of echo on that, haven't I? But I can't help that. Never mind. This is. I can't remember how many of these I've done now. Is this my 4th or 5th? I don't know. I can't work them out. Anyway, too many. So everybody signed in. Did anybody fill in a proxy sheet if they wanted one? The proxy sheets went out in that enormous email that I sent. But you could vote online, and in fact, as we will see, 78 people have voted online. The voting process. So just to recap what's going to happen. When you came in, Christina would have ticked you off the little book, and if we got a record of a vote already in your name, hopefully you're the person that gave us that vote, and that's great. So the only voting you'll get to do today is on stuff that isn't already advertised, hasn't already been published, and we'll do that by a show of hands in the good old-fashioned way. But if you haven't voted online and it wasn't already registered, you get a little voting slip which you can wave to signify that you're entitled to vote. In fact, I need two myself because I have proxy for Paul and Sharon. But you can imagine I've got them. So of course we add those votes together and that will give us the total vote. So far I've only got one no vote on any subject, so that's not bad. That's not bad. And we'll cover that off as we go through. We are YouTube Live. We're trying that rather than Facebook Live because you don't have to have Facebook to see it. Everybody can access YouTube, so it sort of spreads the love a little bit easier. We've had one or two technical challenges, as is always the way, but I've got some of Silicon Valley's best minds working on it. Thank you, Don. Thank you also to Christina and Michael for getting you on the register. Thank you for Susie for hopefully directing you to them in the first place. And thank you to David for getting the coffees. Well done, David. Apologies. We have 16 recorded apologies. I only really going to mention two, particularly Deb Shanley on the committee and Phil Grove on the committee. Deb's is stuck in the UK and Phil is stuck somewhere in Thailand, bless him. I'm sure he's having a lovely time though, so I don't feel too bad. And then I've got obviously quite a few members, 14 other members who just send me a note saying they can't be here, they're washing their hair or doing other important tasks. We have coffee and biscuits at the end, so of course if you had a coffee it was absolutely fine for you to grab a coffee beforehand, but that was down to you guys, the ones we've paid for, although I think they've released the biscuits. The biscuits are available. Right, let's see the next slide then. Don, what do we have? AGM voting. Like I said, we had 78 people vote online. That's 10 up on last year. Oh, 10 up on last year. Every member attending has signed in. We've mentioned the voting card. In fact, we've done this bit. It's all marvellous. And we will get the total votes, which we will summarise in the minutes. Okay? We sent out the minutes with the email of everything that had gone out so far for last year, sorry, and everybody had a chance to have a look at those. I've got to be honest, it's always a bit of a struggle when you're looking at it, especially if you weren't in the meeting, or if you were in the meeting, it's a year ago, so it's quite a while back, but I don't think there was anything too controversial in there. And so far we've got 78 people signed off. If you have a little white voting slip, now is your time to wave it. If you say yes, you sign off. So this is for yes, sign off. If you can wave your little voting slips aloft, hold them aloft, and I need somebody to count. Who's good at count? Michael's counting. Hold them nice and high, that's it. Michael will get you. And then I've just realised it perhaps would have been easier to do the people who say no, wouldn't it? Yes. You see, why didn't you think to tell me that? Come on. Are we counted? Are we fully counted? Are we counted? Are we all right? So let's just to make sure we don't miss anybody. If it's a no, we don't like the minutes, you can wave your little slip. No, Adrian, that's it, get that down. That's great, thank you very much. Right, okay, so we are unanimous on sign-off. That's great, thank you very much. The minutes, by the way, like all our minutes, are they're recorded sequentially and they're kept for the future. If they're called upon, we are required by the Junta de Andalusia to number them sequentially and keep them in a safe place. So they're in my wig drawer. Right, next slide, please. Oh, is it not coming? What's happening? Let me just. Do we know what it is? It might be. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Do we know what it is? Bear with me. Bear with. Let me just see. Let me just see. Where are we at? One moment. One moment. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, right. Yes. You're. Oh yeah. You're. Oh no. We're live on this, aren't we? Oh yeah. But you want slides only, and then we want to fade. Yes. So people watching online are just seeing that slide. That's what we're doing. Some of our finest brains are working on this, and hopefully now if we. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. I make some double Dutch, but my delight is such. I feel as if I losing would be one for me. And if I had a flag, I'd hang the flag out to add a sort of final victory touch. But since I left me flag, and I will simply have to say thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very, very, very much. They all love me, but I didn't know it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. It sounds a bit bizarre, the things the way they are. I feel as if another life's begun for me. And if I had a crown, I would fire it to add us all a celebration task. But since I left the man alone, I simply have to say thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very, very, very much.
What's happened? What has happened? What has happened? What has happened? 1 minute. Oh, it was all going so well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. It is every day. Good fortune comes my way. I never thought the future would be fun for me.
Will you be quiet? My baby crying at me.
Pardon, missus. And if I had a pupil, I would love it. To have us all come out of but since I left the people alone, I simply have
Okay. There was. It's always technically challenging doing these things. The BBC, they make it look so easy, but we have a bit more of a struggle. Lots of names, lots of places, fun things we've done. This is a bit of a reminder of all the stuff we've done in 2024. And I had a real problem squeezing it all in because I like to use that song. Most of you know who's been before. It's my favourite song, and it's only like 3.5 minutes long. But to try and capture everything that we did in 24 in 3.5 minutes was a bit of a challenge, quite frankly. So a good challenge to have, though. But there are some great things to see in there. You will have noticed 3 of the 3 winning photos from the photo competition. They were in there, and we've had some fun times. Unfortunately, apologies for Oktoberfest, because I tried to get a copy of the birdie dance being done at Oktoberfest, but I think they've all been burned, deleted. In the interest of public safety, I just could not get a copy of us doing the birdie dance, which is such a shame. I even appealed on the members group, but nobody had it. So that's just a really nice little reminder of the fun stuff that we've done, and hopefully to gird our loins ready for the year ahead. But lots of fun times in there. And of course, mini clubs, a massive thank you to everybody who looks after the mini clubs. And it's always great for me to see that what started as a sort of an idea, now they hardly stop. Especially mahjongers, you know where you are. People who do the mahjong especially, people who do the petankas, just won't stop it. So they do it 24/7, week in, week out, and that's fantastic. I need a bit of a rest. I've got to save my energies for sometimes, but it's great that everybody picks up and carries on going. But a big thank you to everybody. We're wishing Helen well, bless her. Helen's been out of action for a big part of 24, bless her. But hopefully she's on the mend and we'll be back doing her usual rounds, because I know so many people miss the fun of the open air. Thank you, Don. We can go to the next slide. Ooh, if it works. Is it working?
Hold on, it's like
I know. Are we back on? Have we changed our fade as well?
yes.
All right. Well done. Are you all right? Is it going?
No.
Is it not going? It's the anticipation. Ah, there we are. Right, I like to do this bit every year. I know you probably know this as well as I know it, but it's a good thing to remember that it's just a reminder that everything that we do is what we should do, okay? That was one of the things that we picked up, that we wanted to make sure we were properly registered. We've got public liability insurance. There's a clear line of sight for the authorities. That includes the Junta de Andalucía. It includes the tributaria, the tax people. We don't pay tax because we're not for profit, and we share the profit. But all of those. But all of that it's a reminder. All of that's taken care of, and that protects all of us. It protects the club especially. It protects you because you're the ones who give us some money, and you'll see later quite how much money you've given us lately is a little bit surprising. It also protects us on the committee because we're looking after stuff for you, and it's important that we get some protection too. We need to make sure that we're not going to get in any trouble, and it protects obviously the membership generally. So somebody give David a nudge. He's nodding off. It's like he's watching Harry Potter, isn't it, David? Harry Potter does it every time. So yeah, everything is logged and registered. We have Alberto Martin, and last year one of the expenses we had was that he completed all of the formalisation of the committee changes for us, okay? And he won't be doing it this year, but he'll do it in 26 when we look at changing committee. And everything is documented for future reference. Thank you, Don. Okay, just some update really. The website actually, hits on the website went down last year, and I don't know whether I'm a little bit sad about that, but they're still at 8,300, so I can't grumble, but they were 9,200 the year before. But our actual visitors are up to 3,600. So lots of people accessing the website. It's great to see the second most popular page is the members section, where we advertise stuff for sale, for rent, for hire, and all that sort of stuff, which is really good because it's nice to share. We're a social club, so we're doing it socially, all right? Of course, we've got Facebook page, we've got the members group, and I'm encouraging people more and more every week to think about using the members group if they need a lift, okay? Not everybody's got their own transport, and if they need a lift, the members group is a great place to drop on there, say, anybody going, can we have a lift? And, or if you've got spare room and you think, oh, does somebody want a lift? You know, let's lift together, okay? Emails, 20,000 emails. Oh, is it? Yeah, emails sent, 20,000, all right. I apologise for that, but I like to keep in touch. Every single one of you, that counts. So like when I do one email, it goes out to 260. Are you all right, Chris? Oh, you counted, that's fine. Every single email, when I send an email, it goes to 269 people. More or less, so that's why it clocks up quite quickly. But we also get 5,000 emails in a year. They're not all of those. They're not people writing to us. It's telling us that we've booked something, we've sold something, we've got some money coming, we've got some money going out, whatever. So that covers all of those. But just to let you know that there are a lot of emails going through. In fact, the next slide, Don, might show us visually, if I remember rightly. Yeah, don't worry. There. Oh yeah, this was looking at 1 month. We sent 1,389 to 269 people. Average response time of a day. We received 601 in that 1 month. Thank you, Don. Next one. Right, these little three graphs are just a visual. This shows our busiest hours for receiving messages. And the important thing is they start coming in fact that was midnight, that's 5 o'clock, they get busier and busier. 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock is our busiest time. But the emails come through more or less from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. And it's just to sort of let you know what sort of goes on in the back office. But that means normally somebody's buying something probably, or booking something, which is quite nice because we can do that at any time, day or night. Over here, this one is messages sent, and you'll see Sunday. This is column for Sunday. We send most of our messages on Sunday, and that's my weekly update, so that's fantastic. This one just shows how long it takes us to answer your emails, okay? So we answer most of them within 15 minutes. How about that for a response rate? Some of them can get up to 2 days, but if we're not answering it by 2 days, the answer's too tricky. Thank you, Don. Press the button. Right, this one, I like this one. I'm stealing a bit of David's thunder, and this hasn't come out very well on this slide. 160,000, 80,000 euros received. So cash handling is down 160,000 since 2019. So what this is saying, Stripe, when you pay us something, you pay us using Stripe. Since we introduced Stripe in 2019, we've taken over 160,000, well, taken 80,000. But everything you pay us, we pay out. So we move that money out again, because we don't sit on 80,000 euros, obviously, I can promise you that. So that means we've moved 160,000 in the last 5 years. Don, hit the slide. Now, this is the question for you. 1 something in 10 something. And this is to do with the rate that we send and receive money, okay? How much money we get from you and how much we ship it out. Press the button, Don. 1 centimo every 10 seconds. Oh, look at the graphic. So, every 10 seconds since 2019, when we introduced Stripe, we have sent or received 1 centimo, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's €3.60 every hour, 86 a day, 600 a week, 4 grand a month, 32,000 on average a year, 162,000 in total. So what I'm saying about that is it's quite a lot of money. How much money does that look like? Don, hit the slide. This is what it looks like. This is the money that you have given us since 2019 in €10 notes. There are 16,000 of them. And I can tell you that they're 0.1 millimetre thick. And if you stack them high, the stack of notes would be as high as the Lady Vet. 1.6 metres, 160 centimetres high.
Like it dwarf,
No, she's massive. The beagle is a fully grown beagle. The average weight of a beagle, yeah, is 13 kilograms. That's how much the money you've given to us since 2019 weighs. I couldn't even run off with it if I wanted to. But the reason I mention it is because I know that when we first came up with the, paying by online and all that, you think, oh, we've never done it before, why do we need to do it? Well, I think that's a pretty good visual. Why? Could you imagine this lot of notes stuck in little envelopes or underneath my bed for safekeeping or whatever? It just wouldn't work, okay? And once the neighbours hear that I've got that sort of money at home, well, they'll be round for parties every night of the week. So it's just to give you a visual on exactly quite what size of business we're running here, really, what sort of an organisation it is. There's a lot of money comes in, a lot of money goes out. David, well done. Press the right. So what do we have new this year? My little lady down here, my little Esther, ICS, it fits so many ways. ICS. She's the person that takes your orders when you want to book something. She uses a conversational style, so she will say, hi, what's your name? You say, hi, I'm Susie. Hi, Susie. How many would you like to book? Oh, I'd like to book 2. Okay. And that's what she does for us. Hopefully makes the booking as simple as possible. So she's new. We've had 2,000 euros of sound equipment new. Largely thanks to massive donations from most of you out there, which is lovely, and some people who haven't been members too, for that matter. But we sit now on a lot of good equipment, some of which we're using today. We would have been if I'd charged the batteries properly, but never mind. We have a lovely new projector, which actually is working a treat. That's marvellous. We've got assets, and in the paperwork that Dave sent out to you, you can see the long list of assets there that we've acquired this year. We thought it was important to put it in this year because there was so much purchase. Now all of that purchase they're assets to the club, so we all collectively own them. If it was to be agreed that we were going to dissolve the club, they would all be sold and we would all split the takings. It wouldn't go that far though, between 300 of us. Because more or less, we're pushing 300 members now. But we've come a long way from 10 members. And of course, last year we introduced automatically renewing memberships. And we have, I think, 90 people-ish. 90 people. David will show you later in a minute. We have 90 people who will automatically renew shortly, well, in fact, at the end of this month. They won't have to do anything other than just tell us if any of their details have changed. All right? What's that? Were you buying something? I thought you were gonna. I thought you were putting a bid in. You've just bought a Ming Dynasty. No, you've just bought a Game of Thrones sword.
I need to stand up. You're fine. Carry on.
Okay. No, it's not there yet. You're not on yet. Press the button. Oh, you're on. I can now pass over to David. David, you've got to have the headset. Have the headset.
There we go. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very, very much. I've got your paperwork here, by the way.
My paperwork.
But if you need it.
If I need it. I've got some revised copies here for everybody if they want to take any. I'll leave them on the table here because there were a couple of mistakes on the ones I sent out to you, which have been corrected. Can we have the next slide, Don?
Oh, do you want to look at that and come back to that?
Yeah, we can do. We can move on.
Okay, go to the next.
Well, so far we've had the 78 online.
Side off on the report.
What we've agreed to anyway, nothing's changed with the numbers. The numbers are what they are. It's just that one or two numbers have been moved from one pot to the other because there was in the wrong allocation. What I tried to do this year, we can go over? Should we go over? We can go back to that one, can't we?
Yeah, you can come back to that. Don't worry. Do you want to go to the next one? This is in there. There you go.
There we go. Petty cash. What I tried to do this year was a different format that I must say hasn't gone according to plan because it's been a little bit confusing for some people, and what I've tried to do is cram too much information into one sheet. So what would be better, and the feedback we've received, would be to open it up and use more space. So I can then explain in more details where it needed to be, rather than putting it, because it looks very busy, very confusing.
Use two sheets.
They use 2 sheets or 3 sheets.
Okay.
So essentially what we have is when we see something like the petty cash account, that is an account. We have the bank account, which is other account. We have the Stripe account, we have the sum up account, we have the trip events account, we have the gigging account, we have a merchandise account, we have an assets account. So we have more accounts. Over the years we've grown. The feedback that I received so far was that what I used to do was very good, but it's not showing everything that we do. What I tried to do this time is expand on that, which I have done, but also that's confusing too, and it's not fully, I've not fully explained where everything's going, and we've had some queries with the numbers. But the numbers are the numbers what they are, so feedback taken on board. Got a work in progress for next year, which I'll explain a bit in a minute. The petty cash count. This shows what we're receiving through the petty cash. As you can see, simply YTD year to date. I send this out to our membership, for our committee members every month. So sitting behind here are months and months and months of data. So every month I'll send out January summary of where we spent the money, whether it's come in or gone out. And there'll be a year to date, as you can see here, that will reflect those changes. Then we'll have February, that will be the running total for 2 months, for 3 months, and so on till the end of the year, where we get the total numbers. So, and this is to show you guys where the money goes and where it's spent coming through. Petty cash top up, we took £4,000 out the account. We've moved over to another account, primarily. The account that we had was a personal account, and we're not really a business, we're an association. So we spoke to the bank and they've moved us over to a better account, which is now a business account. And what that means is it's reducing our fees. So where we've been paying about €500 in fees, I presume this year we'll be spending less than 200, or round about that. That's what the plan was. And so towards the end of the year, they said to us they need some time to make that transition. And we were then paying for, I think, Benaudalla and the winter lunch, and I needed access to the money. So I didn't want the account to close. Within that week, we were doing all these activities with Benaudalla while they're sorting out the transition of the account. So we took the money out to pay cash to sort everything out. That's why that was so high in that month. But anyway, the good news is we closed in the balance of 34110. We started at 78.54. We opened the balance, we closed the balance, so we got more in there. I like to keep it around about 200, 250, just in case. There's nothing out there. You can see we received €700 in cash, as opposed to 29,000 on Stripe. So you know, this only makes up for a small portion, where a few years ago it would have been the other way around. 90% people pay by cash, which is great. We don't want cash; it's dirty money. We don't like cash. You know, we don't want to touch cash. There's no traceability, there's all problems with it, it's easy to get lost, etc. Charitable donations, 468, that's money that's come in. That's made up from 3 points from the ukulele fund most of all, and also from the quizzes. You know, we have the quizzes every month, or we play bingo or something, and we ask you guys to give a donation, and that donation then goes to charity, to the Red Cross. So that sits into this pot here, with the cash that we give it. Next slide. Thank you. Similar, the same things again. This is to do with our bank account, the Sabadell Bank. So these shows all the little pots where the money goes to within our little framework with the ICS. You can see at the top there, asset purchase, €2,632. So that's where majority of the ukulele equipment that we bought comes from, and then we got all the other bits and pieces that we've had to buy, like the projector that sits in there. Bank fees, you can see we got €349 of fees. Normally it's about 500-600, but we changed over the account in the last quarter of last year, so we stopped paying fees. I may add, with our new account, the only fees that it's a free banking account, the only fees that we are now going to be paying are using anything by our debit card. If we pay by debit card, they will charge us a fee. But that fee still will be a lot lower than what they were charging us before. They were charging us for anything and everything. Most of our business is done online, so when we have our third parties like Benaudalla Palace, for example, the hotels that we stopped in, we would pay a transfer, we'd do a transfer, and the old bank account would charge us for that transfer, and it depended on how much it was to how much they charged, which added up to silly money really. But nowadays that's free, and so we should see a marked improvement. We also now have a point of sales device, just like you would do it in a bar restaurant where you swipe your card. We use SumUp, but SumUp charges a fee, and it's a higher fee than the bank. So we should start to see some money savings on that. Cash to bank, I'm not going to go through all the details, but you can see strike receipts, €29,091, nearly €30,000. From the feedback that I've got, and from the information we'll be sending out, it would be an idea to split up the strike receipts into the right fundings. This year, I forgot to show you how much money we received in membership, which is just over 3,000. Well, that would come out at 29,000, or make a good part of it, because people do pay cash. So when we look at cross-referencing our numbers, some of these numbers are not balancing. They're not balancing because I haven't shown all the information. So I've tried to do the right thing, but it turned out it was more complicated, and there was less visibility, less line of traceability than I thought in the beginning. So apologies on that. I can't say much more than that the opening balance started at 2,775.23, and we closed at 2,257. So we're 500 less than we did last year. Normally we like to be a little bit more, but we've had a few extra payments, and I can explain with the next slide why that will be. I wanted to show professional services. People might want to say, what is professional services? You can see there. Public liability insurance at €417, and the committee registration 187. That's where the money came from for that. And the next one, please. Ukulele Gigging Fund. We raised €1,563.45. The equipment cost us €2,096.69. We overspent by €513.24. That had a direct relationship with our bank account, because we're now 500 less than what happened. What happened with this, that we're part of initiatives within the Costa Tropical called Mancomunidades, and there are schemes, there are funding available for people like us, that when we want to do something, we could call on resources, financial resources. We have to apply. Mark had the idea of having a ukulele, what would you call it?
Well, it's a contribution.
No, ukulele concert that you wanted to do.
Oh, well, yeah. Festival.
Festival. And so we applied for, we applied for funding from the Mancomunidades up to, I think it was about 700 or 800 euros.
But it was the equipment we applied for.
Yes, I know, Mark. But that was what it was for.
Just to be clear.
No, that's what I'm explaining. That's what it was for.
Carry on.
It turns out they approved they approved the funding
They did.
for the gigging.
They did.
So we went out and bought the rest of the equipment because they approved it. And the process was that we buy the equipment, we submit the receipts, and then they give us the money.
Really.
But they never gave us the money.
They said no.
They said no. One department approved, one department pays. So when we went back and asked what the problem is, no, we're not approving this because it doesn't come under our criteria. But you've already approved. Well, they approved it, but we're not approving it. So the lady in charge with the Mancomunidades and the translator in between all this, working on our behalf, explained this to us. Just because it's approved doesn't mean they're going to give it you. But the money's there for people like us that need financial funding. We wouldn't have applied if we didn't need the money. So, unfortunately, that's why we were 530 euros short. Considering this man worked all his life in bank, you know, we can count to 10 at least. You know, after that he gets a bit, especially other people's money. So that's why we showed that's the way it was. So unfortunately, so we took a hit on that. To the next slide. Our trips and events summary. We all know where this comes from, and I've been showing this for a while, and I shall continue doing so because it's a table of what the events and the trips cost. So with every trip that we cost, we have an estimated cost, because that's what we believe it's going to cost everybody, so that's what it is. Sometimes we have different costs, which we call the actual cost. The reason being, sometimes we get discount with larger groups. Sometimes we have to meet other criteria to get other discounts. So it's not always clear. And you can see that the balance column is the profit or loss or difference between the two. In black are profits and in red are losses. Tienda de fruit, and of course it's showing that we start off this balance sits in the bank account with the big number. So part of that is this money here. We had an opening balance of 55.34 and a closing balance of 505.99. And you can see with every event and trip that we did this year, you can see how much that costed. It went. We also had a rather large profit on the Benaudalla. For those of you who went on the Benaudalla trip, you would have benefited from a refund of 10 euros a person because we sat on with 700 euros. That was so popular. Whenever I cost up a trip, quite a few of you know already, I will make the costings based on 90%. Because we don't want to cancel the trip. If we can go on it, we do everything we can do to go on the trip. Whereas in the past it's been cancelled. This formula is working really, really well. Because what it does mean is that we get a little bit of extra money, a little bit of profit. Although the club, the association, is a non-profit or entity, we are allowed to make a little bit of profit. The taxman's not bothered if You know, we're self-registering with the tax at the moment, so we don't have to submit any accounts. But as long as we keep within the guidelines, we're not doing anything wrong. Everything it is what it is. If we do make a bit too much profit, we give it back to you guys, and you'll see that as we do that. And this year, what we were giving back, we've given back the Christmas Carol, coffee and biscuits. That cost £211.73. That came out of this trips and events summary. It's not come out of the ICS membership funding, but from that summary there. Also the Romaria. Now you could argue the Romaria is for the ICS, and it is, and it also generates a lot of business, because from the other slides I'll show you why when we get to them. But that cost 138. And so you can see as we go through the sheet. So that's loosely where the money comes from, not from the finances. Next slide. The membership report.
Cool. Before you do that, do you want to do the show of hands for the...
Yes, we can do a show of hands on the count. Let me take some questions on that. I've taken on board everybody's feedback. I've revised the sheets to put the bits of money in the pot. I can also email it to everybody to give the amended version, but the numbers are what they are. I've taken people's feedback on board, and I will redesign and look at things doing differently. Does anybody want to add anything to the accounts?
I want to comment on this treasurer's report. I find it very good, very detailed, but I miss a place where all these, what you call accounts, would be summarized in a few lines.
Yes.
So that
Okay.
you know what's come in and what's come out from the different accounts.
Absolutely.
In the present state of finances in just one small, clear
Statement.
summary.
Yes. Yes.
Included in the sheet.
Absolutely, I can do that. And in fact, it was quite rude of me to send this new document out without, to your point, having an explanation, because people got it, some people were thinking, oh, what's this all about then? I don't know. So I take everybody's criticism on board, and I'll work closely with getting it sorted for the next AGM. I've spoken to the people concerned who've had more issues about it, and hopefully we're in agreement of what we need to do forward. So if people want to approve the report as it is now, because the numbers are not going to change, they are correct, but with the view of looking at a different way to show all the accounts, all the different pots with a summary to make the line of visibility clearer for everybody concerned.
Yeah.
Can we have a raise of hands for those who want to approve the account? Everybody in agreement?
Those who've got white slips.
Yes, with white
Those
slips.
who've got the slips.
Any no's? Oh, do we need to count these people? They're the same people, aren't they? Apologies, hands up again, sorry.
Go do the nose. Oh, no, stand up and be counted, come on.
Oh, everybody up to be counted.
Oh,
1,
put
2,
that
3,
blade away.
2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10, 50, hundreds, thousands of them, everybody.
Now's a good time.
Okay.
Down or never.
Down. Anybody who don't approve the accounts? Thank you very much for one.
All
You haven't seen. They're here on the table. I have emailed to everybody. You may take one.
Have you been under a rock? Good Lord. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. It's difficult to prove something you've not seen.
Lo siento por no hablar en español. Sí, no preocupe. ¿Se puede explicar en español? Si le quiere.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
I just want to, like I mentioned and I touched on earlier, it's quite staggering, the volume of entries that we get. I mean, it's hats off to David. I'm not always his biggest fan, quite frankly, but he has his work put out for us in keeping up to date on just it's staggering. Not just the amount of money that comes in and out, but also the number of entries. and every single one of them has to be processed and double checked. And then if there's a query, they have to be rechecked again, which is absolutely right, but it's quite surprising considering we're just a little social club, quite what's involved. That's why I think it's important to keep the idea of your beagle full of money in your head, and it gives you some sort of idea of the transactional level that has to be monitored basically and recorded.
Thank you for being my number one fan.
No,
You may
no,
sit
I
down.
think-
You may sit down.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Going on, moving forward. Yes, treasurer. Right, so this is where your membership fees goes. So everything we've talked about is the money we generate to do all these wonderful things. But where does the money go? And this is where it goes. 37% goes to administration, and that's for the day-to-day running, your paper, your pens and stuff like this. 7% is donations. The donations I'm talking about is just from the membership, from your membership, which is €200 we donate to the hotel, which we do every year. We've also supported other independent charities too in the past, but last year it was just the hotel. And the trip event quiz associated costs, this is 56% of mostly prizes. Have you put the sheet behind there to explain them in more detail?
I can't remember
On
that.
your list, I used to put that down.
I don't know that I have.
Okay. Majority of the cost, you know, when we have the prizes, all the prize money goes into that. And prizes, I can say, because I've got the wrong glasses on, prizes you'll see was over €200 in prizes. And there may be one or two associated costs to the mobile phone that we have, you know, the mobile phone, and one or two things that don't sit in the pot that it doesn't fit either way, but it's used by both accounts. As I said, I will explain more for next year. You'll see exactly where it all goes. Normally I show that. Moving on, Don. Oh, we've done petty cash.
So we went back, didn't we?
We went back, yes, we've done
So now
trace
you go
that
back
bit.
to membership now.
Right, so we've done that one,
You did that.
and we've done that one.
There we are.
Membership, there we go. This is the stats from when we first started in 2019 to 2024. 2018 should die off because that's when we really inherited. What this shows us is how many members have joined the group. The blue blotches are new members, the red blotches are lapsed members, and the green are total members. So you can see where we are, almost 300 members. We do lose about a third of new members because, you know, we're not for everybody. Some people try, you know, so we move forward. So they are what they are. Total members 293. Members for this year 60. Most of this comes after the Rome Maria because we have a very good offer. We give 15 months membership for the price of 12. So if you sign up in September, Rome Maria, then you don't have to pay anything until a year later. So it'll be this year, it'll be year 27 that you start paying. So you get 15 months for 12. 14 members have expired. Sadly, we've lost one or two members, and other people have moved out of the area. That's how I know it is today. There may be more or less, or there will be certainly more after today when people renew or don't. That's when I'll get the final number. So that will be a working process. 44 came from the Rome Maria. 139 have decided to automatically renew online, which means less administration for us, and for you guys you don't have to log in or forget to do it, but it will automatically do it. And just normal people, 94 just go to for just a normal annual, I'll pay as you go. Next slide. Last year I spoke about increasing the membership from 15 to 20 because we were getting close for what we were getting income in terms of membership coming in and our expenditures going out. So I did some analysis over the years to see how we do it. And this is a graph to represent that analysis. This is expenditure versus subscriptions. The red line is our expenditure. So you can see more or less 2,700 is kind of stable. So that's where we are with our expenditure. Our subscriptions are slightly more than our expenditure, which is what we like to see. So we're getting more money in and paying less out. So providing that our subscriptions exceed our expenditure, we're always going to be in a positive. And this is the blue line is showing the bank balance. Now this massive dip, this represents COVID. So in 2020 we had COVID. We'd already taken your membership in that time, so we had to close. Everywhere was closed. And so we didn't ask for any membership fees from you in 21, and so that's why we see that massive dip. So, conclusion. Do we increase our membership from €15 a year to €20? And the answer is no. The club is running fine as it is. We have a €500 surplus that's going to increase on the bank account. So it's something to monitor, but this year it's my view that we don't need to increase, even though I raised concern. Can I jump off?
Another point is, if we took, and I think I mentioned it in the note, if we raised membership €5, that would, with 300 members, that generates €1,500. What do we want it for? What is the point of it? We're sitting on more or less $2,500 that we don't really touch.
Yeah.
That's in case we needed something, we could do it. But if we had another 1,500, what for? What is the purpose of it? It really doesn't make any sense. Not unless there was a very good reason to do it. If ever that begins to erode, fair enough. But 1,500 on top, 4,000. What do we want 4,000 for, really? We're not a savings bank. We're not a savings society. That's not what we do. We only really need enough money to operate and to
Does this come with a vote?
Yes, there is a vote.
Can we move on then?
All right, I'll shut up. Sit down.
So, membership fee proposed voting. So, the ICS membership fee of 24 is proposed to remain the same for next year. Those in favour to keep it the same, you may vote.
I'm voting for Sharon Hall.
Same number of people as vote, if we have many no's.
Yeah, no, it's in the office.
Does anybody not agree with that number who would like to see it increase? It's absolutely fine if you want
Or
it
reduce.
increased. Or reduced.
Let's not reduce it. No, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
And is there a final thing to show? No, you've done it all now.
I think
Move on to
maybe
next-
it lower down. See what the next slide is. Oh, charitables.
Am I doing that or are you doing it?
I
Because you're
can't.
itching to get
Let
back
me do
up
it.
on
Come on, let
you.
me do it. Let me do it.
Thank you everybody for
Thank
your
you very
time. I've almost got 5 minutes.
You've had far too much to say.
Okay then, press the slide, Don. What do we have? So, charitable and good works and donations. Okay, there's Yvonne. Thank goodness we took this photo, because there was a week with the accounts we couldn't find the entry for the donation. And we thought, oh my God, we haven't paid them. It was there, we just couldn't see it. Anyway, this is Yvonne presenting the cheque for the cash for €200 to the hotel staff. Now, I just want to mention, I said earlier that we had one vote for no, for not giving that donation, and which I absolutely acknowledge. The point was raised that this year's been a challenging year with the hotel. They've not been always very accessible for us. They had this issue with the toilets. They had an issue with no staff. I mean, we went there once and there was nobody to buy a coffee from. All right, there's the machine, but if you've tried their machine coffee, you know why that's not a good idea. So there was the suggestion that, you know, is it worth 200 euros? But to be fair though, on the other hand, oh sorry, no, there was one other thing. In the Oktoberfest, I don't know, those of you who were there for the Oktoberfest, it was a struggle. They booked us a room, which we paid for, but they didn't book us chairs. They didn't think we wanted chairs. And that caused all sorts of problems at the event. And I've got to be honest, I was like, steam coming out my ears. It was very awkward. But, to be fair, we get a really good service from the people who do serve us. Maxi, particularly in the restaurant, those of you that know the little guy with the moustache, Maxi is lovely and he sorted out our tables and chairs for us. He went the extra mile. Where the hotel reception said no, you can just stand up. So, I've got to be honest, am I in love with the management of the hotel? Well, no, I'm not really. But we have a very good long-standing relationship with them.
What is the alternative?
Well, yes, and that is true. And of course we have looked at alternatives, and the Mahjong group is meeting in Miba. I mean, the backgammon and chess has met in Barocca, and art has met in Leslie's and whoever's houses and all that. So we are a bit location independent, but we do still have that long-standing relationship with the hotel. And I know it's a difficult time for them because if you've noticed, they are doing some improvements. I don't quite know how that pans out. The difficulty we have with them is that they don't tell us. They don't keep us advised of what's going on. And I can appreciate though, in terms of their business, right, we're not a massive contributor to their income stream. I mean, they get most of their business obviously from the Saga holiday makers and from people having events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, all that sort of stuff, yeah? Communions. That's where they get their money from. So we're not mega important to them. But I do know that the staff who do look after us, there's Maria, there's Maxi, there's the lanky one, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. But generally they try their best to look after us as much as they can. But if they can't be there and they're told no, we can't have chairs and stuff like that, so I don't really want to shoot the messenger because I don't like the message. So I went back to the individual and said, look, I absolutely get what you're saying, and it's not something that we disregard, but at the same time, I don't feel that, I personally don't want to not give them a reward, if you like, because they do still give us a lot of service too. Is that what you think too, or am I on my own? Yeah, the staff are good. The hotel's a bit crazy. I get that. And having worked in a large company myself, I know how that feels. I've worked in branches where the managers, you know, you just put a bag over their heads and stand them outside.
You need a throat lozenge.
No, not at all. No, I could sing all day, like a canary. So it remains then. We have 77 votes for and 1 against for 200 euros donation to the hotel staff. And now this goes to the staff. We don't give it to the management team and something like that. Although actually that was Lolly there. We did. Yeah, but Lolly, I trust Lolly.
Yeah, we'll give it to Lolly. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, what happened was I think we did it that year, and then we ended up giving 350.
Yes, we got caught out. Anyway,
we got caught out there because they all jumped on the bandwagon getting 50 euros each.
If you have a little white slip, you may raise it now to confirm 200 euros. Sold. 200 euros. Is there anybody wants to say no? David, put your hand down. Anybody? No? Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Dom. Red Cross. We take donations for the quiz. We take donations for the bingo. Sometimes odd little things that we do, we will ask you for a contribution. And that goes towards the Spanish Red Cross. There's been some pretty tricky things happening around the globe. I know that many of you do your own thing. It's just a little something extra that we do that kind of oils the wheels of charity. shall we say. And it makes a difference. It's nice to be able to give a contribution. Like they mentioned, we don't actually do the lump sum donations anymore that we used to do, and that's not to say we couldn't do if we wanted to consider it, but this is one good way, and normally it's when we're having a bit of fun, so I think that's kind of fair enough. Don, what else can you tell me about donations? Kiddie Angels and Valley Verde. Leslie's not here, is she? But Kiddie Angels, €890 last year, and that is a massive difference for Maria, who runs that little place. Her little kiddies are very grateful for that, I promise you. 424 she raised for Valley Verde in Bethna in November too. So Leslie is a one-man band. I think she's just obsessed with cake. Leslie's got some cake issues. Don't tell her I said that. No,
also, the ICS has supported them independently with prizes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we've made donations. Like when we had Romaria, we had a little bit of surplus, which we donated as prizes for the Valley Verde. It seemed sensible rather than anything else happening with it. All right. So there's some good stuff going on there. I think the next one is about World Ocean Day. Here we are. Oh, what a fine team. Oh, there you are, look. World Ocean Day. A lot of us gathered on Salabrenia Beach, which turned out to be remarkably clean, quite frankly. I mean, we are so lucky. The guys who did Almuñeca, just saying, Almuñeca Beach, they had tons of buttheads particularly, but tons, bags and bags and bags.
I'd like to add, they promised us a free drink for helping out.
And we didn't get it.
They never gave it to us. So
That's so man comunidades.
Man community.
Yeah, it is. But
so we ended up with that bill.
But it's just to say, we do stuff when called upon. We were represented. As it turned out, though, Salabrenia Beach actually was pretty good. I mean, it's something we should all be grateful and proud of.
Do you know what CAPTIC stands for?
Yes, I do. It's the Associated Costa Tropical International Communities. I named it, actually, as it happened. Well, they've had some ridiculous names, didn't they? CTICA or something. It was like dyslexia ruled KO. Right, okay, let's go for it. What have we got? Right, lovely, lovely, lovely. I've already shared with you a document that has all of the feedback. I haven't got a copy of it here, but we had 670, I think. There we go. 600 odd responses, yeah? 658 people have responded. So when you take the time to fill in my little form, it only takes a couple of minutes, but it is important. Your feedback is important to us, even though sometimes I don't care for it, I have to be honest. Sometimes it's a bit of tough love. On the events that we had, I totaled up how far we went on our little bus this year, 2,400 kilometres. I need to get out more. I need to stop looking at these figures. Perhaps I'm on the spectrum. We had some fives. Some people were so delighted that overall the whole result was fantastic.
That would have been me because I have to.
That's it. But everything pretty much, booking, paying, itinerary, that's the one that I really, if you score me low on that, I get really sulky, I'll tell you now. WhatsApp, yeah, I'm not going to look at anybody. Sometimes the WhatsApp don't work so well. Trips, announcements, seats, okay, where to sit on the coach. That's spending in nicely, actually. It's not too bad. We need to hear from you. If you get an allocated seat and it's not your choice, do let us know, and we will try and do whatever we can. Obviously, there are only so many seats, but we have personal experience of being on the wrong side of it. When we were in Rome and we went to Pompeii for 2.5 hours, we were sat squeezed. We were the last two people on the bus, and we had to sit right at the very back on the smallest seats, and it was not a lot of fun, I can tell you, at 50 degrees in that bus. But anyway, all the scores are fantastic. Basically, nearly five points for everything. And when we do get some negative feedback, we do try and do something about it. We try. we can't always wave a magic wand and make it all right, but we do try. Let's see what we get next year. Committee. Okay. Let's have a look at that. So, as I've already mentioned, the committee is appointed. We have 8 members. Press the slide, Don, and let's have a look. So, I'm still there. This is my last term of office. Woo! Oh, please. I've got so much sewing to do. For God's sake, I've got a material stash up to here with stuff I can't get time to sew. David is continuing. Michael, well done on secretary. We have Vocales, Debs, Phil, Sinica. We've got 1 seconded member vacancy available because we lost on Yvonne this year, bless her. She's taken her golden retirement. We've got 2 nominations actually. 2 nominations. We have Miliana and Anita. And my suggestion is this. We are a committee in theory of 9, but we've had as low as, I don't know, when did we get there? Did we get down to 6 at one point?
1.
Well, it might as well be 1. But what I'm going to suggest is that this is a seconded appointment, like Susie was for a start, because we're not registering with the hunter. So you kind of, you're in the inner circle, but you're not actually liable until it gets to the hunter. So what I'm suggesting is that we take both. Actually, I would very much like. Well, I've lost Anita. We've lost Clive. Oh, there you are, Anita. Hello, lovey. Sorry. I was just saying that I would love to have you on board, and if Miliana's not here today, is she? I don't think. But Miliana, to be fair, isn't here all year round either. But I don't see any problem in having both of you, quite frankly, because, in fact, as I've always said, I think everybody knows that I've always said it doesn't matter to me whether you are on the committee or not. Really, it makes no difference to me. To prepare a quiz, Inez is here. Inez has prepared a quiz. Pat and Sue and Jenny and John have all prepared quizzes. Anybody can do something. Terry's here. Terry's not on the committee. He does a fantastic job of a talk for us. Loads of people do things for us. Rose and George, and you don't have to be in the committee to do something. We're a social club. I think it's fantastic that everybody gets involved. So for that matter, my proposal is going to be that.
Does that give us an even number?
Now, right, you're right. It does give us an even.
If that gives us, we need an odd number.
No, but you know what we do when we have an even number?
You keep your mouth
I keep my mouth shut. I take away my voting rights. So when we're on a committee of 8, I don't vote, and I still get my own way. How does that work? Voting isn't important to me. It's about shaping, influencing. All right. So I'm going to split this into 2 things. We're going to have 2 votes. Firstly, the vote for the existing members. This is not mentioning Miliana and Anita. In fact, let's just do it. Raise a hand if you've got a problem with that.
Just so everyone's aware, I'm not voting for myself, but I'm voting for everybody else. Can I vote for myself?
Yeah, you can vote for yourself. Look at Donald Trump.
I'm voting for myself then. No.
Right. So, in fact, raise your hand if you want us to change the committee. That will just be easier to count. And don't feel obliged. Honestly, there's no right or wrong answer to this. There really isn't. So, are you with me? Everybody's happy. Okay. Now we will do hands in the air. Everybody can put a hand in the air this time. For both Miliana and Anita. Anita, give us a wave, Anita. There's Anita, bless her. Okay. For seconded vocal, I've got 2 votes. I think that's unanimous. Anybody, any against? Don't worry, I'll get up for you, Anita. Don't worry, leave it to me. I can be very influential. No, it's fantastic. So, welcome aboard. Lovely. And if Miliana's watching, welcome, Miliana. I can't remember how to say that in Serbian. Never mind. Right, so we've done that one. Any other business? Now I've got something for any other business, but before you do my any other business, does anyone else have any other business? No? Let me do mine. This may be a bit, I don't know how controversial this is going to be, quite frankly, but I feel like being controversial. It's my last year of leadership, so I'm going to put it out there. Press the button. Right, don't press any more buttons yet. It's very important not to. This photo was taken before the turn of the century. Okay, this photo was taken, best we know, in 1997. Okay, and this is the full membership of the International Club. And pretty much, I don't know for certain because, look, I've got to be honest, this was gifted to me by one of the people in the photo who is the lady who came up to me when we did the very first Romaria on the beach. And she said, "You don't know me, but I'm thrilled to see you people here. I set this club up 25 years ago at Hotel Salabrenia."
Not Diana Porter.
No. No. Nearly. You're almost in the right time zone. But anyway, you're not a million miles away. So, yeah, and she said, "I'm absolutely thrilled to see that this little club that a few of us started as an intercambio has flourished and we've now got a presence on the beach." And every time I think about that, I get a little warm feeling inside when you looked at that slide saying we've got almost 300 members, which is pretty staggering. And what a history. Like I say, this was taken in 1997. So, that's a long time ago. Now, a few of those people on that photo, the lady I spoke to included, Maria Elena Targa, she's actually the sister-in-law of Manolo Martin, the owner of Hotel Salabrenia.
Which is why we go to the hotel.
That's right. She is a director of Ron Montero, which is a nice place, a nice friend to have, director of Rum Bodega. And she's a very lovely lady. One of these days I'm going to get her in to give us a bit of a tour. But we have 10 life members. Dave and I, we call them the founding fathers. I don't even know when that was agreed, how it was created, but there are 10 people that are members for life. They don't pay us anything. To be fair, they don't come to anything either.
Another one now, but we should...
Well, anyway, I'm getting there. Press the button, Don. But wait a minute. This lady here is known to me. And known to many of us. Press the button again. This lady is known to me and many of us. That's Lillian and Margaret Lingwood. Lillian Gorison, Margaret Lingwood, who have been members of the club from the very beginning. Now, I don't know how it was that they missed their founding father's status, but for some reason they did.
Lillian explained that she went back to Belgium for a few years and then she came back.
But, and I know from looking at, doing a bit of Googling, Margaret was here before on the Monte, apparently, estate agency and all that business. So but what I'm saying is, these two people have got a massive relationship with the club that has gone on since before the turn of the century, which in my mind is a very long time. And controversially maybe, sorry, Ines.
According to the picture, shouldn't it be the founding mother?
It should be the fact, I know, but we go for fathers because it's like America. You see, it should be the founding mothers. Absolutely. Good point. So, what do I want to do? What am I suggesting? My proposal is that these two members be added to our founding fathers, mothers. If you like, an ICS Foundation membership. Now, they've not mentioned to me, they know nothing, they'll probably be horrified that I'm asking for it. But I think it's, one of the things that I think is a great shame if we don't recognise their importance. So, my proposal is that we add 2 new people to the foundation membership, and yes, they get free membership for the rest of the time they want to be members. But considering they're still actual active members with us, and they've supported us for so long, and they were here at the turn of the century, I think that's why it's important. So, are you with me?
Is that habla español? Is that
No. Oh no. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But, show of hands. Who's for it? Who's for it? To add 2 new members.
to the foundation?
And it's not a problem. This isn't a 3-line whip. If you want to say no, do not feel obliged in any way. But it's something that, for me, I feel quite passionate about, because I've seen...
Can you clarify, the club wasn't registered until 2009?
Yes.
So to have some evidence that we had a club
Yes.
prior to the official 2009 entry to the junta, it is
Yes.
quite astounding. Really.
Do we have any against? And again, it's not a problem to be against. I won't take it as an insult or anything. It's just, this is my own. I haven't even mentioned this to the committee. It's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time, that I think is only the right thing to do. All right? So, we're all right. Pass.
The main reason around this that these people before our day have life membership, and these 2 people, the only 2 from the original that we keep that
Haven't got that.
don't have the life membership.
Yeah.
And considering these 2 people are around at the same time, we think it's fitting that these 2 people should have the foundation membership status with all the others.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your... Honestly, I feel good about that.
Do they get a gold watch?
No, they don't. I know they're going to be horrified. I know. Well, Margaret turns up for the mahjong. Who's mahjonging? I know Margaret goes to the mahjong. I think they're going to be horrified when they hear me saying this, but I just feel like it's something I need to do. Anyway, so that is that. Have we got anything else? Don, press a button. Oh.
You broke it. It was there so long.
Oh, what the hell is that? That may be stirring music to end the session, but it might not be. So let's not play it anymore. Right. Okay. So we are done. Thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you very much for just being here. Your contribution. We need to hear more from you, so let us know. Where do you want to go? Oh, I may have some bad news. Oh, look, start this bloody season and I've got bad news. I've got a problem with Malaga. Malaga for the Chinese New Year, such a great idea. But this is the problem, and we have this problem with some promoters. We have it with Alhambra, we have it with Caminito del Rey, where we try and book some tickets, right? When we organise a trip, say for 50 people, a bus full, we get in touch with the promoter saying, we will want up to 50 tickets. Can we have 50 tickets on such a day? If they're a good promoter, they say, yes, of course you can, we'll keep them by. You've got 2 weeks to sell them, and then you can have them. If they're not, if they're like Alhambra, or they're like Caminito del Rey, they say, well, you go online and you just pay for them. But I can't pay for them, I haven't sold them. And I can't sell them until I know I've got them to sell. And this is where I am. And that's the problem we have with Alhambra, it's the problem we have with Caminito del Rey, and it is so frustrating. So they've said to me, if you want tickets for the lights in the park, just go online and pay for 50 tickets. But if I go online and pay 50 times 14 euros, and I can't sell them, that's an instant loss. I mean, I might sell them, but you don't book with us, or you don't work within the club on a hope it works out basis. We have to know what we're doing. and I can't offer you them because I don't know that they'll even, when we last tried to do you remember, guys, when we tried to do Alhambra in May? When we tried to do Alhambra in May, they said, oh yeah, you can have tickets 7 o'clock at night. We wanted to go at 9 o'clock in the morning, not 7 o'clock at night. 7 o'clock at night's no good. I've got me cocoa. So, and that's where I am with the Malaga thing, which I'm gutted about because I was going to do the Lantern Festival followed by a nice little Chinese buffet. Sounds like a nice day out, but I can't see how else I can do it because, well, I can't do it because they won't. You buy them and lose them, or you don't buy them at all. Sorry, that's bad news. Hmm? Yeah, not really, because I mean, again, I've still got to say, right, you're going on that day at that time, and then we may not be able to go. Yeah, but that's there. But that's got a whole new problem though, right? Because we use Stripe, yeah, there's an instant loss even if we refund you. Because they don't do it for free. I mean, it's not massive, but
not only do it on a day, but they do it on a time too. So they only allow so many.
Yeah. It's so frustrating. I mean, that's why, like, when we go to Granada and we do the opera and ballet, I've got a lady called Mamen Rodriguez, and she's lovely, and she will put tickets aside. But the others, some people won't do it. Anyway,